Hi everyone. In this week's parsha, we have a very interesting pasuk. It starts with Hashem speaking to Moshe and Aaron, saying, "Ki Tavo el Eretz Canaan." When you arrive in Eretz Canaan, asher ani noten lachem la'achuzah, that I will give you as a possession. V'natati negat tzara'as beveit Eretz achuzatchem. I will give you the plague of tzara'as on the walls of your houses that are in your possession. And Rashi says, this is such an interesting way of saying it. Why is Hashem saying, V'natati nega tzara'as? Like, I'm giving you a gift, the gift of the plague of tzara'as on your houses. And Rashi explains, according to the Midrash, that the Amorites were burying their gold and their treasures in the walls of their houses for the 40 years that Bnei Israel were wandering in the desert. And when Bnei Israel took possession of the land and those houses, then they wouldn't know that there was buried gold and treasure in the houses until Hashem would give the plague of tzara'as on those houses, and the walls would have to be knocked down, and Bnei Israel would then find the buried treasure within. And the Rebbe explains that this applies to each and every one of us. We all have buried treasures within, all of our talents and our abilities that Hashem gave us, but sometimes they're buried so deep because of our actions. When we do averas, when we sin, when we turn away from opportunities, when we don't connect to Hashem and to the Torah, so we're burying those treasures further and further deeper inside. And Hashem has to enable us to find those buried treasures. So he gives us what can sometimes look like a plague, like a very challenging episode in our lives. But he's only doing it to enable us to find the buried treasure within ourselves, to find our inner strengths and inner talents. And really that's true of everything in this world, that things can sometimes seem very, very negative. But with emunah, with faith in Hashem, we understand that everything that Hashem does is for the best and for our good. Everything that Hashem does is good. And it's up to us to figure out how it's good. It may be that it's only when the walls are knocked down, it's only after we've broken through this challenge that we can then say, I understand. There was buried treasure within. There was some way that I had to grow, and Hashem had to bring this upon me in order to enable me to grow. So I want to give us all a bracha that we are able to access our buried treasure without such terrible difficulties, but to know that when we are facing these kinds of challenges, that Hashem is always, always with us, and he is telling us that we have the inner strength, we have the inner treasure, we have the inner gold to deal with these challenges. Shabbat Shalom.